You're listening to the New World to Go podcast with your hosts, Redbyrd and BDLG.
Hello and welcome to another episode of New World to Go. I'm your host, Redbyrd, and with me is BDLG. Bordy, how you doing tonight, brother?
Good, man. Excited to talk about what we have to talk about tonight, dude.
Lots of cool stuff. One very special weapon we're going to dive into. The ICE Gauntlet was revealed, but a quick disclaimer, if you're watching the YouTube channel, we may get some desynced stuff on Bordy's side. Discord's been weird lately. The videos sometimes get desynced from the voice. It's clear that the government's listening to our podcast, so we just want, we want to make sure that you guys are aware. You're not crazy. Bordy's not speaking German. It's just some Discord issues. Also, guys, on a separate note, go check out New World Fans. Our website, me, Bordy, and Taken are working over there. We should have a new look this week, hopefully, along with updated guides that we're posting over there more regularly. We're trying to get ramped up for New World's beta, and when we'll be able to drop the NDA and update everything, the map, hopefully the builder, guides, etc. So go check out New World Fans. Don't forget to bookmark it because we'll be putting up tons of stuff over there on the website. Bordy, now, Let's get in here, brother. Without further ado, the ICE Gauntlet. We got a video. We'll watch the video for our YouTube users. If you're on the podcast, I'm sure you've seen the video before. If you haven't seen it, you can check their Twitter, the official Twitter videos over there. We also have a YouTube video up about the ICE Gauntlet that would have went up today or yesterday if you're listening to the YouTube channel. All right, Bordy, so here we go. This thing is pretty cool looking. We thought that it was going to be some sort of ice magic, and we weren't wrong. And I think a lot of people felt the same way. But here is the footage here, Bordy. I'm just going to play the video once. Again, we have broken this down before, but we're going to talk a lot about it on the podcast anyway. So here we go. As you can see, the teaser had a little bit of a frozen gauntlet in an ice cube, and there is the ICE Gauntlet. Bordy, I think it's really cool to note, again, the ancient symbols on there, or what appear to be ancient symbols. And, in the video, they do show like 3 different abilities really quickly. And then what appears to be a new set of armor, which is also pretty cool. So let's dive in here, Bordy, as we break this down here on the podcast. First, dude, ice magic. What do you think? Overall, the 3 abilities that we did see look pretty cool.
Yeah, they look great, man. Exactly what I was hoping to have out of something like the ICE Gauntlet. They look very unique. The abilities are all something that is a little bit different. The totem is something that's fairly unique to New World, at least. We see that in other games, but it's unique to New World. I don't think we have anything quite like that in the game yet until now. So I really like the totem ability. Potentially a buff, debuff, something of that nature. The stagger looks really cool. The big ice, whatever you want to call it,
cleave.
Icicles coming out of the ground. The cleave, whatever you want to call it. It looks amazing, dude. I love that. I like the stagger at the end, and then the blizzard, a big, huge AOE that I'm assuming is probably a big slow. Maybe does some kind of dot damage as well. We don't really know yet, but I'm excited about it, man. I think it looks amazing. The gauntlet itself, dude, looks incredible. The little as it's spinning around, you see the little piece of ice, chunk of ice, like hovering in the gauntlet. That's amazing. Which, you know what, man? Now that we're looking at this, is this the same type of technology that makes the shattered obelisk pieces hover around in the air? We just did a lore video about that very thing as well, and so all of this stuff seemingly ties together potentially. You have the ancient symbol on the gauntlet, and then you have the floating piece of ice in the palm of the gauntlet. So it really does make you think that this is some sort of ancient technology as well, which is pretty cool, man. Overall, it's amazing looking. I love it, dude. I
love it. I love the lore behind the ancients and them unlocking some sort of crazy magical abilities, extraterrestrial maybe, time-defying maybe. But overall, I just think, the gauntlet itself has a great design. We showed some of the, concept art from the, I believe, Healing Gauntlet, or what was it called? Life Gauntlet or Light Gauntlet from the mini alphas ago. And it's cool that they're reusing this. They obviously, like you mentioned, redesigned the sphere that was in there with a chunk of ice. I think that's pretty dope. I do like the uniqueness of a gauntlet. You don't see that very frequently at all, if ever, in MMOs as a weaponry. So I love that they branched out there, Bordy. Like you said, these abilities look cool. Even the basic attacks looks really dope. You're like, Kamehameha or, Gallic Gun, whatever. I know you're not an anime guy, but all my Dragon Ball Z listeners out there know what I'm talking about, dude. They're casting some crazy stuff with her hand. It looks dope, man. One of the things I want to point out, Bordy, is this is the second magic weapon that we've gotten. Third, if you count the life staff or the healing staff. We had mentioned several episodes before that we do need some more magic weapons in the game to kind of balance out the current arsenal of weapons. And we got one, dude. I think this is the first of a couple even. So the Ice Gauntlet looks dope. You have anything more to say about the abilities that we saw in the video?
No, I mean, I think we've covered them. They're very brief, and I don't really have a lot to add in terms of the abilities. I think they're all going to be heavily CC support focused is what it appears to be to me. It doesn't appear to be a ton of damage unless the totem is potentially a damage buff that buffs your light attacks and heavy attacks, which could maybe be the case. I'm more in the camp that you place down the totem, and if an enemy gets close, they are either slowed or their armor's reduced. Maybe a debuff type of situation going on there. Either that or maybe it applies an additional slow to your auto attacks, maybe something to that effect is my guess. But I think more what we're seeing here is more support based abilities. That's what it looks like to me. I don't think it's going to be a heavy damage weapon, so it leads me to believe that potentially focus, intelligence would be maybe the attributes on there.
I got one for you. If this is a support based weapon, I think that ice pillar or that ice totem might be a mana regen, to where if you're standing within the vicinity, you might be able to regen a certain amount of mana. I think that'd be pretty cool. Like a bard or something in other MMOs, the ice is a support ability, focus-based weapon that allows you to regen mana. I think that'd be pretty cool as well.
Maybe, which would be very useful in dungeon type situations, even in sieges and other group style PvP. You would want to have a Frost Gauntlet in your group, which I think just for the slows and the CC alone that we're seeing here, you'd want a Frost Gauntlet anyway.
I agree.
Plus, it looks cool, looks fun.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And you think about the combinations that and I like the possibility of having gems or something that even if this is an ability that is maybe focused or intellect driven. Maybe they'll have gems like they do with the intellect gems that kind of convert your damage to fire or magic or whatever. Hopefully there'll be some things that help you, manipulate the way that this gauntlet works, and you can kind of work it with. I mean, hey, the musket is intellect based as a secondary stat now. So what if, dude, you have an ice gauntlet musket and you're like slowing people and popping them in the head? I think that has some really cool potential, there,
help you kite people around for your ranged ability. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Or maybe you can create some sort of like heavy armor, like Death Knight build where you have a great axe and a frost hand on the back bar, and you're just kind of freezing them and then spin to winning on their faces. There's a lot of cool things here. I like that possibility in New World, and I hope they explore that way to kind of manipulate weapons and how they scale per statistic. I think me and you both agree that if not this week, which I think is the most probable week, then next week we're going to get a full write-up on the Ice Gauntlet, the abilities and the stat or the stats that it scales on.
Scat, isn't that bat poop? Scat?
Potentially. It's also scale and stat combined. So I don't know. I don't know what I was.
Yeah, it looks cool. So let me run this one by you real quick, man. And I don't think this is the case anymore after seeing the actual aesthetics of the gauntlet, because the gauntlet itself looks like an ice gauntlet, right? Not just the orb in the middle. The entire gauntlet looks like an ice gauntlet. Mm-hmm. But I thought this was a really cool thought. After we posted our video on YouTube, one of our viewers posted down there, he was like, man, hey, what if the gauntlet is kind of the weapon, and the orb that you slot into the gauntlet changes the elemental type of damage you do. So like you have the chunk of ice for an ice gauntlet, and then you go find another orb to slot in the gauntlet, and then that's potentially void or lightning damage. I thought that was really cool, man. I'd be down for something like that. I think that'd be neat if there were only certain kinds, and then we also have the staffs as a variation. Then maybe later on down the road they could add something else. But I thought that was a cool idea. What would you think if something like that was the guy? I don't think it is, because
I think it's hard with the skill trees, right? I mean, then you'd have to change every time you change a gem, you change the entire skill tree of the weapon. I think that'd be pretty challenging.
It would just be like changing out another weapon, though. It would just be the gauntlet and then a different slot. Which,
sure. Yeah, I mean that would be cool. It's a cool idea. I like it a lot. Which kind of leads us to our next topic. Now that we have this magic weapon, this is the third if you count the life staff. It is kind of pale in comparison to the amount of melee and physical damage weapons that we have in the game so far. What do you want to see, Bordy, in the game now that we have a frost gauntlet? So we have staffs and gauntlets. You want to see more gauntlets? You want to see some more staffs? Maybe some different weapon types. What are your thoughts on other magic weapons you'd like to see in New World?
Yeah, as far as magic weapons, the actual weapon itself, I don't really care too much. The gauntlet is super cool, and I love the outside of the box thinking there. And the stabs are, stabs are stabs. We've seen that a million times.
Right.
But I'm more worried about the type of magic we get versus the actual thing we use to cast the magic with. So a book, a gauntlet, a staff, whatever, I love the gauntlet. I think it's cool, and I would love something else unique like that added to New World. I don't know what it would be, but the type of magic I would like to see in the game is either like lightning, void, or some sort of necromancer ability, man. I think necromancy in New World would be dope because it's very dark and eerie anyway, void with the corrupted and
lends itself. Void kind of lends itself to that sort of like
in that kind of same vein. Yeah, something like that. Those are probably my top three. I guess void and necromancy, you're right, they're kind of similar. So like lightning and then some sort of dark magic, one of the two would be really cool. Those are my top two choices that I'd like to see added, and I don't know what the likelihood of us getting those is, but
well, I think they're high because look, we already have abilities that have enchantments that have void damage. Like you can enchant your sword or your spear with void damage, and I think I think that also lends itself to potentially having builds that are centered around a certain type of damage, right? So maybe you can get armor that says deals 20% more void damage. Then you can scale your sword and shield off of void when you want to use your the void staff or whatever we're going to get, void book or whatever that may be. You can kind of use those in combination and make it work, make it effective. Just like we have the ice gauntlet. Now, maybe you can enchant your spear with ice, and then you set your armor, your armor set to do like 20% more ice damage. I think that potential there is great. I would love to see something like that.
Yeah. So have you seen the post going around on Reddit about the weapon types,
No.
the 4 weapon types? Because it's very. I'm gonna link this to you on the fly real quick. This wasn't in the show notes, but I'm gonna link this to you on the fly because I find this very interesting too. So check that out right there. A lot of speculation is going on Reddit right now that there's going to be 4 of each weapon type on release. So if that's the case, then we may only get one more magic weapon in the game versus multiple. And if you look at this chart here, it does make a little bit of sense. You have straight sword, hatchet, rapier, and then, question mark for whatever else. But it kind of looks like it lends itself to looking like there'd be 4 in each tree here.
Sure.
So you have the bow, musket, potentially pistol, and then maybe one other ranged weapon. Then for magic, you have fire staff, life staff, ice gauntlet, and another. So I thought that was pretty interesting, man. And it does make a lot of sense in my mind that we might get 4 of each, a nice even number for each to choose from. And I think that's pretty spot on. I think that picture, the top picture there that you see, the 2 of each, I'm pretty sure that came from the Reekwater event is what they referenced here in the post. But sure. I thought that was cool, man. What do you think about that? You think that's going to be pretty accurate? I think that's potentially correct.
Either that or they're going to do 3 of each, which is also possible. And then we that would also kind of line up with their trajectory on launch because
True.
That would give us time to add one more weapon after the Ice Gauntlet. They seem to be adding a weapon like every other month. So we get this one in April, and then maybe we get another one in June, and then, dude, it's July. It's time for the beta.
Yep.
So maybe
That's true. And,
maybe we do get one more ranged weapon of sorts.
Yeah, so Ice Gauntlet would be it for Magic then. So you have Fire Staff, Life Staff, Ice Gauntlet. Is that enough Magic on release?
It's tough to say because I think it's more important that the stats line out. You know what I'm saying? I think, whatever the next, in this picture, it would be a ranged weapon. That ranged weapon would almost have to be focus-based, if not, primarily focus-based if the Ice Gauntlet's an intellect weapon. Maybe it would be intellect-based if this is a focus weapon, because they really do need to find a balance there. They've already put intellect as a secondary stat on a couple things, such as the musket and the rapier. So maybe we will see some secondary focus base. So maybe the Ice Gauntlet is intellect focus, and then whatever the range weapon we're going to get will be focus intellect, or,
maybe
whatever. So this is interesting. The thoughts are interesting here. I see they've question marks by the great sword and the pistol. Which is potentially, that makes sense. They've teased the greatsword before in pictures, I think, and they've also, teased the pistol. So we'll see, man. This is interesting to think about for sure. They do have the space there, or it's what seems to be the space in the Requater event. So we'll see, I guess, right? I'll have to go back and look at the footage I got from that event now that you've mentioned this, and see if it's organized that way.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm kind of in the camp with you on this whole situation too, is that I think it's more important to get the attributes lined up than having this enormous variety of weapons. And I honestly think that if they have 3 of each type on release, I personally think that's enough, as long as they maintain this frequency of updates, which they have said they want to even after launch. So just think about, you release with this. I mean, dude, that's 12 different variations of weapons. That's decent, and you can only equip 2 at a time. That's decent.
Yeah,
that's decent, man. For release, and so then after they have those, now I would love a great sword. I would love dual wielding. I would love daggers. I would love a lot of different things to be added. But I think those things can be added over time with other updates, and that gives you more content to explore as an MMO progresses. And I think that's fine for them to continue to do that, because in New World, you can't add classes to New World like a lot of other games do, but you can continue to add weapons to New World, and that essentially makes a new class in the game, right? So I think that's fine. Right. I think that's fine.
Here's one of my concerns. They don't have classes in the game, and usually with games like this, you have a way to, dip into your class abilities and dip into your weapon abilities and sometimes armor abilities to build a class around, right? And so New World doesn't have that. So I think they need to figure out a way to make all of these weapons, the potential to build around each combination. So if my math is correct, there's 77 combinations. If they get 12 weapons into the game, there'd be 77 unique combinations of weapons. I think that's pretty decent.
Did you do that on the fly?
What?
Did you do that on the fly?
I did it with a calculator.
Did you?
I just, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even know if the math is correct. I did 12 choose 2, which is like 12 plus 11 plus 10 plus 9 plus 8, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Sounds good.
All right. Well, I did well in math in high school, so maybe I am right. I don't know. Anyways, but there's got to be a point where these weapons, you can be able to manipulate the way that they deal damage, right? We do know that currently in the game, there are gems that let you change your damage to fire, magic, and that scales off of intellect up to a certain point. Now, the biggest number we've seen, I believe, Bordy, is 50% damage, right? As far as like a gem slotted in a weapon will convert 50% of your damage to fire damage. So, we would assume that most weapons, if you slot the jewel in there, you can get up to 50% damage. Now, it'll be interesting to see, Bordy, how that works with like secondary base statistics, like say the musket, where it already scales 60% off of intellect, and then if you convert 50% of the damage with a gem, how that works out, if that is better or worse or whatever. we will see there. But if they can find ways to like add gems to the game to like convert 50% of your damage to strength or agility or dexterity, that starts to get really interesting, man. And that's where like the current weapon selection does like kind of lend itself to like a whole bunch of different combinations.
Yeah, so what you're saying is like the Warhammer, it currently scales off of strength and only strength. But if you slotted a gem in there, it could change some of your damage from strength to dex.
Yeah, potentially.
So that if you pump up, so then you could run something like Warhammer bow and it still be pretty viable. Or Warhammer musket, and then you could pump points into like intellect somehow and then put a gem in there in your Warhammer that does magic damage and scales off intellect. That'd be cool.
That'd be, exactly. So then you put a gem that's at maybe fire, and then you want to do great axe, fire staff. And then so you put a gem that converts your damage to fire damage on your great axe, and then you're an AoE machine, dude. Stuff like that would be really interesting, and I think would definitely help create or expand diversity in builds in the game for sure.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that they'll continue to iterate on that process. And even with, man, I fully think that 12 weapons on release. And I think that you're probably more correct than the 4 because of the given timeline, man. We're sitting here in April. They just released one weapon, the ICE Gauntlet. It makes a lot of sense to me that they would only release one more in June-ish. And then you have beta in July, and they're not going to be adding anything else. They're going to be polishing, bug fixing, whatever after beta, and probably from June to July, I would imagine they're not going to add much more content, right? They're probably going to be getting ready for beta and fixing things.
Just think it's problematic to put out a new patch right when you're like letting a bunch of people in, because then you're trying to worry about the new content, and then you have like this I would assume the amount of people that have pre-ordered New World that'll have access is in the hundreds of thousands of people. So
I would think so.
You let that flow of people into your game after you just released a new patch that has potential bugs in it. I don't think that's a good look. So yeah, I'm with you. I think June will be the last update that we get. They'll use June, that alpha period, from June until like mid-July to like work out the bugs of that last patch. And then from July, mid-July or whatever till, the end of July, which is when the beta is, they'll be fine-tuning everything and getting everything ready for launch. I do believe that's correct. And then we'll see we'll probably see our first update, like with new content, like maybe a month or two after launch.
Yeah, I would think so. I think that's probably pretty accurate. I would assume. I'm going to call it right now. We're going to get ICE Gauntlet pistol, and then we're going to get and then that's it. And that's it.
Ooh,
I think we're going to get,
you think pistol?
I think is going to happen before launch, even though this wasn't in the show notes either. We're going off the cuff a lot.
We are, dude. Look at us go, dude.
I know, man. I think we're going to get everything that's in there now and pistol, and that's going to be all the weapons for release. Okay. That's my number one guess. I'm probably going to be completely wrong with all this.
So pistol allow, is like it maybe pistol like a sword? Like maybe you only get like the one tree and then you get the access to the shield tree?
Nope. I think you're going to have pistol shield. I think you're going to have pistol shield, but I think it's going to be different abilities on the shield tree. So I don't think the shield tree is going to be the same shield tree as you have with the straight sword. So I think every time they release a combination that you can use the shield with, it's going to be a different tree. I don't think it's going to be like the same tree.
Here's something, Bordy, that used to be in the game that was a weapon and they've had a tendency to bring back weapons that they've already had in the game, Bordy. And this is a pretty unique one, just like the ICE Gauntlet or the Gauntlet. It's a torch.
Yeah.
So what do you think, dude? Maybe like crossbow torch, like those mobs out there?
Maybe. I think that's a potential at some point with the torch lighting your crossbow bolts and being able to shoot them fire bolts or something like that. I think that's a potential, but I think that's way on down the road with some expansions.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get pistol. That's it. ICE Gauntlet pistol. That's it. Pistol shield probably, just like you see the mobs
with the werewolf expansion,
using.
dude. Crossbows.
Huh?
The werewolf expansion in the future.
We're not getting a werewolf.
We definitely are.
We've been down that road.
Think about
before,
that, dude.
bro.
It's gothic. There's gonna be some vampire, werewolf, witches. No. There's gonna be all kinds of crazy stuff, and I'm gonna love it.
Okay, we're not going that road. All right, I'm speculating about what's gonna be in the game on launch.
All right.
So I think
we got one more
those
range
12
weapons for one.
I think those 12 weapons, and I think we're going to get a new zone. I think we're going to get one more new zone. Other than so we just got Ebon Scale. I think we're due for one more. And
one
I think
more
that's going to be
zone or like mid game.
I think we'll get one more end game zone. That's my prediction.
Fair. I think
one more end game zone. And then I think they're working on something for the faction system. We don't know what that is yet.
That's the biggest thing left, in my opinion. They've got to figure that out.
Yep. Yes. So I think they're gonna rework that system, and then, dude, after that, think about that though. They nail the faction system. They have 12 weapons in the game at launch.
Please,
they already
can I please, if any of the devs are listening, zone conflict, one zone at a time. That's all I'm asking for.
Yeah.
The rest of the map is fine. Everybody gets to do PvE. They don't have to flag. They don't have to do anything. But one zone at a time is under conflict. You have to flag to go in. I'll be a happy man. I'll be a very happy man. I'm already a happy man, but that will make my year, dude. Think how bad the year has been, or the previous year has been, and this could fix it.
Yeah.
This could fix.
Well, then you have, because then the people that want to open world PvP just go there and PvP all the time.
Yeah.
That's the zone, you know, and then you have Outpost Rush that you're doing
maybe
too.
Maybe the drops increase in that
zone.
zone. Maybe dude, like you get 10% more drops, 10% more XP, all kinds of crazy benefits of going into the conflicted zone.
Yeah. I'd like that too.
Woo.
That would be nice. That would be the solution, I think, to a lot of the faction systems, a lot of the open world PvP problems they're having right now. But
Greg, I'll buy you a Lego set. Make it happen.
Rush works.
We'll pitch in. We'll
go make it happen.
Greg, we're gonna build you the dopest looking Lego set out there. Yes.
I'll buy you a Lego set, dude.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what
we'll go in together. Listen, yes, we're gonna gift Greg a Studio Loot Lego set.
What?
And no, it's going to be a gift from Studio Loot, not a Studio Loot Lego set. Like, I'm not going to go manufacture Studio Loot Lego set.
Greg probably has zero say. He's just sitting there like, you can buy me all the Legos you want. I have no,
I have no bearing on what happens with the development
exactly.
of the game. Yeah,
he'll take the Legos though, for sure. No doubt.
Either way, I'm getting excited talking about it, dude. There's a lot of content in New World right now.
Yes.
Bro, you start breaking it down, there's so much content in New World, and we just got a new weapon. Bro, it's crazy. They just have to tie it in with the faction system, and they're good. Yep. It's going to be a great launch product. And there's, we're going to get new dungeons, too. That's another prediction. Which they've already said. Yeah. They've already said that, so that's going to happen for sure. We'll get multiple.
Yeah. All right. So here, this segue, man. Even though we're going off the cuff, man, you're gonna get some grade A segues here, dude. Speaking of all this new content, what's coming out in this April release, dude? We got the April alpha notes coming out soon, potentially this week. Which one of all these features we've talked about are we getting? Let's make a prediction, a bold one, dude. What are we gonna get?
All right, you go first.
All right, dude.
I've already made mine before launch. I want you to go first.
All right, I think obviously the Ice Gauntlet. We're gonna get the full details of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a no-brainer. We just got a bunch of everything seems to be being refined at this point, but that one potential thing, dude, that hasn't been refined is the territory control system. I think we're going to hear something about it, maybe even the first iteration of the changes that we're going to see this month, dude. And then obviously we're going to get one more expedition. Because Ebon Scale came out last month, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so we're getting an expedition, we're getting an update on the territory control system, and we're getting the Ice Gauntlet.
Okay, so I hope we get an update on the territory control system. I don't think we are. I think that'll be in May.
I
think we're going to get
Stage 1.
Ice Gauntlet details. I think we're going to get Ice Gauntlet details. I think we're going to get a new expedition. I'm in both of those camps with you. But the other thing I think we're going to get is I think we're going to get an update on Outpost Rush, because in the previous patch notes, all they said was that it was an in-game PvP arena and more details were to follow. I think we're going to get, or not arena, but whatever they're calling it, Outpost Rush PvP mode.
Battlegrounds.
I think we're going to Battlegrounds. That's more accurate. So I think we're going to get more details on Outpost Rush. I don't know. I hope we get details on the faction system, but my prediction is we'll see that in May, because I think it's such a big undertaking.
It's a big thing,
I think that they're working on things probably a lot, if I had to guess. And so I think we're going to get that in May, but I think we'll get something about Outpost Rush, Ice Gauntlet, new expedition, and then tweaks that they usually do to some of these weapons and whatever, which I don't expect a lot of tweaks to the weapons, because the last patch they changed all the weapons up completely, which we've been going over every one of them on our YouTube channel, by the way.
We have been. The bugs, there's going to be obviously some minor adjustments for balance and meta as they kind of collect information from the alpha. They're going to be manipulating the weapons abilities if some of them are overpowered. But I think generally we've seen the weapon rework for sure. We've had a crafting rework already, Bordy. So we got crafting, gathering rework. We got a weapon rework. I mean, we're coming down to the end, dude, and I'm stoked for it. Man. I'm excited. It's already mid-April.
3 months until closed beta, dude. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
It's crazy.
And I think we have exactly that many updates. 3 more updates, dude. So my prediction, we have already said this week. Then next month we're gonna get a new zone, with maybe some like you said, some updates on current content. We'll get territory control version 2, and then the last month or month of June we're getting that final weapon, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, man.
Probably. Before we go into that, I just want to say kudos to their team too. By the way, dude, think about how much work they've put in from preview until now. It's incredible. It really is. Like, I know a lot of people don't agree with some of the changes. They don't like the changes, and that's fine. I understand. I get it. But bro, this is shaping up to be a legit contender for an awesome MMO, which we knew it would from the beginning. But it's shaping up to be good, and the amount of work they've been doing from the preview event until now is crazy. Like, the game it's nuts, man. They've added so much. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, they're working at a pretty impressive pace. If they can keep this up as a live client, man, it's going to be pretty impressive. The amount of content they're adding at this rate is insane. So like you said, kudos to the team. We appreciate the transparency I think most of all, that's the one thing I'm appreciative of most, is that they're posting these alpha patch notes out here to kind of keep us updated on how things are going. Obviously giving us great stuff to create content over, so we appreciate that as well. All right, Bordy, you got anything else to say about the alpha or a potential April alpha update?
I think that's it, man.
All right, dude. So why don't we go ahead and transition here into the company of the week? And it is Spacebound.
Yeah, Spacebound is a North American company, faction Covenant. Boo. I'm just kidding, man. We love you guys. Language English, focus PVX, size 51 plus. They are currently recruiting. So Spacebound, they're recruiting both NA and EU. So they're an English-speaking PvP, PvE company who envisions themselves to become a top company in New World. So they're looking for a wide variety of players between the NA and EU times who are willing to put in the time and effort to learn the game and help shape the history of the company. So the main focus is to bring fun and consistent content to the players in a friendly but competitive environment. So it sounds like they're wanting to be one of the top companies in the game. That's what it states here anyway. It doesn't sound like it. It says they want to become a top company in New World. So if you're interested in doing that, go check out Spacebound. Sounds like a fun group of people to be a part of, man. So go check them out. We'll make sure to link all that information below in the podcast notes and as well as on YouTube.
Yes, sir. And again, we thank you, Spacebound, for using New World fans to promote your company. We highly appreciate that, fellas.
Yes.
And happy recruiting to you. All right, Bordy. Well, it's been a fun one, guys. Don't forget to join our Discord. We're putting together a company over there as well. We're also obviously putting out all of our New World content. You'll be the first to get a notification when we put out new content for the YouTube channel and for the website. We have all the bots over there. So come join our Discord. Come say hi. We appreciate that. We're just grateful to be part of your guys' day. As you listen to our podcast or watch our YouTube videos, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. It means a lot to us, man. We've seen a lot of crazy growth here lately, and we're very thankful for you guys. So thank you. And we will see you guys on another episode of New World to Go.